Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you are watching this. Welcome back to the Since I Was Young podcast, episode 11. Joining you as always is myself, Ewan, and Alan. We've got quite a jam-packed episode for you this afternoon. One jam-packed with lots of news, actually, finally. And we're not scraping the bottom of the barrel, trying to find some pointless news, but we have got some topics to chat about. But before we start off, Alan, how are you this afternoon, sir? You all good?
Yeah, mate. I'm all good. I'm having a lazy day today, so yeah, all is
Well,
good. How are you?
well, pretty much the exact same, mate. I'm quite well. It's a Sunday as well, so day of rest, day of just chilling about. So absolutely, mate, all is good. But yeah, before we discuss what we're going to talk about for this episode. As always, this is the Since I Was Young podcast for everything the heart of Midlothian, for all the news, topics, and debates as well. If you have stumbled upon this channel, and if you are a Hearts fan, please think about subscribing and smash. Yes. Sorry, smash that like button. Smash that like. But you know what? That's a new thing now. Yeah. So smash that like button, and was it? And like I said beforehand, please subscribe if you are a fan as well. And if you want to get in contact with us personally to have your views and says, you can. The link to the Twitter page is in the description as always, and the link to Alan's Twitter page as well, and the link to my YouTube channel, What Ewan's Doing. So yeah, like we've said before, the news is we've got quite a few things to talk about. Debating from an update for fans possibly getting back into the stadium as well at some point, which is terrific news. We've got signing as well to talk about as well. We'll chat a bit about the pre-season as well. We'll touch on a bit on the new home kit as well, which is a bit of a sort of a debate on that, like, possibly yes or no.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna end on a bit of a fun note. So both myself and Alan thought it would be quite an interesting idea to see that if we were both to pick a five-a-side Hearts teams, which player, or sorry, or which the players would we bring into our five-a-side squad? So we'll end on that a little bit later on. So, Alan, do you want to kick off the news for us, sir? And we'll get cracking on that.
Yeah, absolutely. As you said, there was an update with the fans being allowed back into Tynecastle.
Oh,
We
yes.
the players got a little taste of it in the friendlies that we've played in pre-season already. There was 500 fans allowed at I think it was the Spartans game, or it might have been the Linlithgow Rose game. I can't quite remember off the top of my head, but
What a game it was.
yeah.
What a game.
So that's the well, we'll talk about that after. But
Aye.
yeah, that was the sort of start of things, and they're saying that the club's doing a ballot for the League Cup group stage games, and the initial capacity allowed is 500, which Hearts have apparently appealed to have a larger attendance for those games because 500 fans in Tynecastle is that's absolutely fine, but we've got the facilities to have more than that.
Absolutely.
And when you look at the rugby that was on at Murrayfield recently, I think they had about 12 or 13,000. It might have even been more than that.
Which is quite an expansive amount, especially for if it was held
Yeah,
at Murrayfield as well. What, that's a
yeah,
60 odd thousand theatre stadium. So
yeah. Well, that's it. And I mean, they're basing it off of like capacities of the stadiums, which is why obviously there was fans at Hampden, fans at Wembley, and all of that, which makes sense. But that should then extend to football as well. So I don't
definitely.
understand where this 500 fans has come from. Tynecastle is what 19,000, 18, 19,000 now. Maybe even
20,000 and
touching 20.
98 or something like that. No, it is
Yeah,
20,098. I think I might be wrong on that
yeah.
one, but I think that is close to
So
it.
the thing is, even if you say 10%, that's 2,000.
Which
So
is yeah,
they could easily socially distance that and manage it with like
absolutely, yeah.
the vendors and like the food stalls and that, they could easily manage that, especially for the League Cup. Like anyway,
definitely, yeah.
There's a hope that. Yeah, and then they've also said Jason Leach, who's one of the sort of COVID response, I think he's the chief medical officer or whatever his title is. He's basically saying that if all goes well, then fans could be allowed back in full capacity from August, the middle of August, which would be absolutely amazing.
Terrific.
A little bit of whispers about the Celtic game, the first game of the season. Potentially Hearts are looking to get as many fans in as they're allowed to, without the need for away supporters to be there, which I think would be absolutely fantastic. Keep Celtic fans in Glasgow for as long as possible.
Oh yeah. I mean, not even as like a joke as well, but like, obviously considering with the incidents from both the Celtic and the Rangers fans as well, like throughout this year and last year as well. I don't think there's a particular need for the away support to come to stadiums unless it's in the same sort of like vicinity. But I would absolutely love that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's that tends to be kind of what they're looking for, or what they're looking at, sorry, in terms of capacities for fans and stands. So it seems like we're moving in the right direction in that front, and I think that's obviously a massive, massive bonus. The club also, just a little bit more on that, the club also, the last update that the club gave in terms of season tickets sold was 7,000. So
fantastic. Well done, boys. Well
can't
done.
grumble at that. The numbers will go up. Yeah, the numbers will go up once I think there's more clarity in terms of when fans can get back in. And I don't think they've put them to general sale yet. So that'll hopefully increase as well. So yeah, that's as I say, encouraging news on that one.
Definitely. I mean, I was genuinely about to say that we'll have more updates from Matt Hancock, but the dirty bastard fucked it. Sorry. Anyways, I had to get that in there somewhere. Sorry.
Absolutely. They're all just as bad as each other.
That's what I meant. You and me both. We can then move on to our. Well, I say third, like official, but I don't count Ross Stewart. So we're gonna move on to a on loan defender from Brighton, known as Alex Cochrane. You have a bit of insight on his sort of the player profile, Alan. Do you want to give us a wee bit more in depth of what this guy is all about?
Yeah, Alex Cochrane is his name. Cochrane, obviously, a name that Hearts fans know quite well, so it's quite nice to lose one but bring one in. So that's good. He's 2021. Predominantly plays as a left back. Apparently, can play a left wing back as well, and also apparently he said in his interview when he arrived at the club that he can play centre back as well. So nice to have a wee bit of versatility there.
In depth, yeah, I like it.
In terms of the system, that Robbie might want to play, if he's going to stick with a 3 at the back or if he's going to go back to a 4, sounds like he could do that pretty well.
For sure,
He's been capped for the England under-20 squad, and yeah, I mean he gets a good write up. He said in his interview again that he'd spoken to Davy Weir, who is apparently working at Brighton, which I'd actually forgotten about Hearts and about what they were about. And obviously, Davy Weir sold the club as the best possible option for him, which is great. It was a sign that I was a little bit surprised about, to be honest. But it's one of those. It's a position that when you look at it, aside from Stephen Kingsley and Andy Halliday, we don't really have a backup left back. I know Andy Halliday did it last year, but I don't think Andy Halliday is good enough to do that for a season in the Premiership. No.
Yeah. I mean, because that as well, because obviously I don't even, I mean, most likely as well, we're going to probably put Cammy Logan back out on loan, most likely. I mean, there's not been any word of that. Granted, I would like to have him here, as a sort of like a backup, but at the same time, if Robbie wants to give him more sort of the game time, then most likely putting him back out on loan would probably be his best option for that. But I do agree in the sense that, like, I think for Halliday in particular, I think he plays better as a left wing back, and if he's going to start this season with most likely, in saying that if we do start in the same system as we have been, most likely is two central mids will most likely be Haring and McGuinness as well. But it kind of puts into question where he kind of puts both Halliday and Kingsley into that sort of a system. It'll be interesting to see
Yeah.
where he wants to sort of to put them, as such.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is with this Cochrane lad being a young guy, I don't think there'll be any pressure on us to play him every week. I don't think that's
No,
why he's here.
absolutely
I think
not.
Kingsley will be the left back, regardless of whether it's a 3 at the back or a 4, because Kingsley can do that.
Oh yeah, no, 100%.
Halliday might get used more in the midfield again now, because obviously we've lost a couple of midfielders, and it's possible that Halliday might get used there. But Halliday could end up being like a bench option that you can bring in if you want to change it, or
As well, yeah, no,
he's
100%.
so that gives us options. And like I say, it's somewhat kind of underwhelming signing, but at the same time, it does kind of make sense when you think about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And it's also, I mean, it's quite funny when he was announced, there was Hibs supporters doing what they usually do and commenting on a Hearts article, talking about him, saying, because Hibs announced a link up with Brighton in terms of, I think it's like a player development like schedule or something, where Brighton can send young players to Hibs and all that. And Hibs fans were saying, "Oh, why have we not, why have we not had an option for this guy?" Because apparently Brighton have sent a player on loan to Aberdeen as well.
Yeah, no, like I saw that as well, and they were a bit, to say the least, a bit was it pissed off about it, which is fantastic for us.
Yeah, well, exactly. But no, I mean, wish him all the best. He's a young guy, apparently very highly rated, bright prospect. So we'll see how it goes. We're going to get more in, I think. So there's still plenty of time for it.
Definitely, mate. And I think, I mean, I guess it's maybe the option to have a bit more depth in the squad, because, of course, throughout the last few seasons as well, we've had a big squad, and and the only sort of good thing as well, I do understand where Warren, sort of from what you were saying about the signing being kind of underwhelming, but at the same time, he's at quite a young age, where I mean, Hearts, will be a place for him, sort of personally, for him to actually sort of grow as well, and maybe in the future, if he does get himself in to the Brighton first team as well, for his sort of own sort of development as well, because I'm right in saying that you said that he was actually on loan last season as well in Belgium, was that right, or something to that the description?
Yeah, he was on loan in Belgium. Didn't play many games, but obviously that's an experience to go abroad and do something else. I think just what you were saying about having a big squad and all that, I think I get the impression that what Robbie wants to do is have a smaller squad, but have players that can play in multiple positions.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I agree.
So that obviously, there's depth regardless of having the numbers. With Halliday, I know Halliday's not exactly a new player, but he can play in different areas, as can this guy, Alex Cochrane. All the defenders have shown they can play in different areas, like Michael Smith playing at centre back. Probably Kingsley could play at centre back as well.
Oh yeah,
if you asked him to. And even further forward, you've got the likes of Ginelli, who can play in the wing or play up front. I think Robbie wants to trim the numbers down in the squad, but obviously, if you can have players that can play in multiple areas, then that helps you.
For sure, Alan. I mean, for you, Ed, personally, before we move on to the next topic, is there anywhere in particular in the squad where you feel that we need to improve as such, or we need to bring a few sort of red the bodies in, or?
I think there's probably two areas for me. The first being Peter Haring. I think I love Peter Haring, as you know, he's a glorious Austrian and I absolutely adore him.
Mm.
But for me, we don't have another player in the team that can do what he does.
Yeah, I agree.
And that kind of worries me a bit. You could maybe ask Halliday to do it, but
that's what I was about to say, because I kind of view Haring as almost like a holding sort of central midfielder. However, I do think Haring's ability to sort of pass the ball and to keep like sort of good, like sort of like to come the posure on the actual ball. I think he does do that better than Halliday. Halliday, I would sort of class as not an aggressive, but a very sort of in your face, like not like sort of like he won't give you a lot of time on the actual like sort of the ball as well. But you're right. I do think like because like as we said last time, the departure of Andy Irving as well. I think like to have a tiny bit of more depth in that central midfield sort of role, I think it wouldn't be like a bad thing to actually do.
Yeah, and I think as well, in terms of forwards, I mean, like the preseason games that we've played already, Robbie's used a lot of the young players. He's put like Connor Smith, Ewan Henderson, Macaulay Kirk, and a few others. Aidan Denham as well is another one that's played a few games, and they're all teenagers or early 20s. But I think obviously with Stephen Naismith retiring, we need another forward in there. And obviously it's great to see the young players doing well in pre-season, but you've got to look at the opposition that we've played in pre-season and compare it to what we're going to be playing next season. It's night and day. But yeah, I think we need another forward. And Robbie's saying that, we're looking at players and we've made a few offers to some players and we're just waiting to hear from them. But you can't wait around forever. So they're going to have to kind of say, right, if we can't get him, we've got to go and get somebody else. There's got to be another option. But yeah, I mean, the squad is far from complete. I think we're probably going to be busy in the next couple of weeks, I would imagine, because the season's not that long away, to be honest.
No, it's the first game. What is on the 26th? Is the Peterhead game? I think it is, or something like that.
We're not too far away, and obviously there's preseason games, and that'll be for systems and tactics and formations and stuff. So yeah, it's football's almost back properly, almost back.
Well, it was a nice wee segue there, because we can move on to some of the of the pre-season games. Obviously you just mentioned there we played Spartans not too long ago. The result was 7-0 to the Hearts, but that was not the talk of the game. The stranger, the enigma that is Loic Damour, has suddenly shown up, and apparently he played quite well. Like he made quite a few assists and he scored a goal as well, if I'm right in saying, Alan. Like, what the fuck's that about?
He did.
what is that about?
It's a really interesting one. I mean, I was laughing on Twitter, and you know me, I like a wee laugh and a wee joke. And the Loic Damour redemption story is one that is very much in full swing. I think that it's funny. I mean, it's baffling, to be honest. Like, I was reading this morning that he had a bad injury at the end of at the end of the relegation season. I think his last game was the game against St Mirren that we don't want to talk about. But and then he had a bad injury after that, which ruled him out of the start of the championship season. But he was just like, apparently he was training with the youngsters and wasn't in the first team and was being told he could go if there was an offer for him. And obviously nobody offered for him, so he's still there. It's just the ultimate Hearts thing to do for Loic Damour to miss the entirety of a championship season and then come back in pre-season this year. And Robbie's saying that his fitness and his attitude have improved. And you go, well, like, it's one of those. Like, I messaged you about it, and obviously, like, we can't get carried away because of the teams we've played in pre-season. Okay, he's looked brilliant, but he was playing against Spartans and Linlithgow Rose and civil service strollers and these sorts of sides. Which, by the way, son. It's a brilliant name, and it's a brilliant name. But,
rolls off so nicely.
It does, doesn't it? But it's a bizarre one. It really, really is a bizarre one. But if his attitude's there and his fitness is there and he wants to play, he's an option. It's
I
bizarre,
guess so. Yeah.
utterly bizarre. But if it means that we don't have to go out and buy an extra midfielder because we've got him there, why
Yeah, I
not?
guess so. Yeah, no, I guess so because if we're paying him, which I'm going to assume is probably a good amount of money,
yeah,
and I don't know if this is the last year of his 4-year contract or if it's
so
like the second last
two
year.
left. He's
Yeah,
got
aye.
2 years left.
So, I mean, I suppose it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if we were to give him like a few games at some point just to see if he can actually like sort of like do any sort of job. And
Yeah.
like you said, at worst, like if he can be used on the bench as well, then
Mhm.
I guess it's not all bad. I guess,
No, and I mean, if it saves us, as I say, if it saves us having to go out and buy someone or get someone in on loan, why not? Like, if he's impressed in preseason, that's what preseason's for. Like,
Yeah,
there's no, you're not. I'm saying, okay, the standard of opposition we played against was nothing, but he still played well.
yeah.
And I know that obviously the reaction on Twitter and Facebook and everything was people laughing, going, "Oh, like Demour's back," and I was very much on that front as well. But you have to be realistic and go, well, if he's impressed in preseason, he deserves a chance. Like it's just bizarre. Like
I know
a
it's crazy.
yeah. A few months ago, I was campaigning for him to get shot into the sun, and now I'm like, fucking hell, give this guy a start. Like, so it just shows you. It really does just show you. And he's been one of the ones that's impressed in preseason, as well as some of the young players as well. Macaulay Kirk, apparently, he's done quite well. Son of former Hearts forward Andy Kirk. He's scored a couple of goals across preseason and apparently has looked quite good. He'll probably be one of the ones that would go out on loan, I would imagine.
Possibly, yeah.
Because obviously Robbie said at the end of last year that a few of the young players would go out on loan. So yeah, it's look, and we played Ayr in a preseason friendly a couple of days ago behind closed doors, and that was a 1-1 draw. And at full time, everyone was saying, "Oh, Robbie out, Robbie out, Robbie out," and then
already,
aye, and then 12 hours or 24 hours later, we played Falkirk and battered them 4-0, and people are going, "Oh, we're going to win the league. We're going to win the league." It's preseason is not about results. It's never been about results. It's about performances and fitness. That's all it is.
Exactly, yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's not bad. The 3 games before the Falkirk and the Ayr game, we had 17 goals in 3 games and didn't concede a single one. So, you can't complain about that.
Happy days, Alan, yeah.
Yeah, but that's it. As I say, results in preseason are irrelevant. Like
precisely,
it doesn't matter as long as you're fit and ready to go, and that's what you can do. So no, it was good. It's been good, and the Loic Damour redemption story continues.
Christ almighty, right. Well, we'll see how that goes for him then. We'll see how that goes for him. Well, before we go into the sort of the main part of the news, there was just again was it a small part that you text me about for a bit of staff news that our long-serving head scout John Murray has retired as well. Is that right?
Hallelujah. Yes. He's moved on after 25 years of service at Hearts, which is absolutely outstanding, don't get me wrong. But
it's good, but
yeah, he is one of those that's been a constant at the club for so long and was responsible for some absolutely horrendous business that we've done. Was very much one of those, had football agents as his friends and just recommended players to Hearts based off of that, whether they were good enough or not. And yeah, I mean, I'm obviously, I wish him all the best in retirement. He gave a lot of time to the club, and that can't be forgotten about. But
no, of course
he's had lots of different roles at Hearts, but it's the way that football is now and player recruitment and stuff. And Joe Savage seems to be, he seems to mean business, and he wants to restructure that side of the club, and he's bringing in analysts and like recruitment people and like scouts, and he's revamping all that. And it seems like we're doing a lot more sort of recruitment based off of statistics rather than who you know and who you're friends with, which is great. That's the way that
Definitely.
modern football's going that way. So
Yeah.
we need to be on that. And John Murray wasn't, because that's not his style. He was, as I say, very much I've got a friend of a friend that might play for you, sort of guy. And that's not how football is now. That's not the way it goes. Joe Savage is obviously an advocate for the new school of scouting and player recruitment, and I think we've been so far behind on that for years.
Yeah.
That seeing that progression, and it's important. It's important, and you just hope that it can get deliver some good players, and we can move forward with that. But yeah, John Murray, one of the final dinosaurs at Tynecastle, who is out of the door. All the best in retirement, but you certainly won't be missed, that's for sure.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you and good night. So just before we get on to the fun topic of the five-side squad, we've got a new home shirt, and to add on to that, a new the goal the keeping shirt as well, which we'll add on to that after we've talked about this. I mean, what you were saying about the signing of Alex, was it Cochrane? Now, I will say up front, apart from the sponsor, which I think is absolutely fantastic, absolutely brilliant. The shirt itself, very underwhelmed. I was expecting that, I wasn't expecting something out of this world. I wasn't expecting something mind blowing, but at the same time, with us sort of the being back in the Premiership, I was kind of expecting something quite quite nice, quite quite stylish. Yeah, I was more just a bit of
yeah,
it's all right. It's all right,
Yeah, I mean, well, I said it when we were talking about the third shirt that Hearts shirts are going to be classy anyway because it's Hearts. But
yeah,
when I saw it, I was kind of the same as yourself. I kind of thought, don't really know if I like it or not.
Yeah.
It's one of those, and I've said it to yourself as well, that I have a scale when it comes to Hearts shirts, home shirts, which is the more white, the more shite. That's my scale when it comes to Hearts shirts, because I just don't like having white on them. I don't. White shorts, maroon shirts, white shorts, maroon socks. That's the white for me. If you've got a little bit of white, fair enough. But there's something about it, and I'm just like, I don't know. It's not grabbed me as much as I hoped it would. But yeah, I mean the sponsor is classy, obviously.
Absolutely.
And on that as well, Craig Halkett has agreed to take up a new number, and the number 26 will be retired for the season in memory of Zaliukas. So that's a nice touch as well. But yeah, it's one of those that I was kind of a bit like yourself, a bit like, well, really, is that it? But
yeah, exactly.
It's also one of those that once we actually see it on the players on the park, it might grow on me, and once I see it in person for myself, it might grow on me. Because it's difficult to tell from pictures. But yeah, I expected it to be a bit better, but am I complaining to the point where, I'm not going to buy that?
No,
probably not.
Probably not, yeah.
I probably won't buy it, to be honest. It's one of those though, but it's what more can you say about it? There's not really a lot more to say.
Well, however, and it's a big however, now, when you sent me the text to say that the home kit had been was it announced, and then a few hours later you text me and in these words, and to quote, mate, is it wrong to buy a goal the keeping shirt? And as soon as you text me that, I thought, I bet it's Haufen. Mate, it's fucking superb. It's absolutely lovely. Mate, I'm much like yourself, that I've never even bought any sort of the goalie top ever for any team, but I may be a bit swayed by this. Seriously, it's such a nice, stylish top.
It is nice.
I mean, so far, it's a toss up between that kit and the bird shirt. Like seriously, I think there's I did like it was more of a case of I didn't expect it, because some of our was it the goal like sort of read the keeping shirts in the past have been houfing, especially not from I mean our last season before we got relegated was I think it was the orange one, like that like the wee sort of fed the blue sort of like wee pinstripes going through it. It was just disgusting. But that one I like that raised a few eyebrows. That one did.
Yeah, the thing is, I mean, I don't tend to take much notice of goalkeeper shirts, to be honest.
Nah.
Like I couldn't honestly tell you what they've looked like before because they're always just totally random colors. It's like pink or orange or yellow or whatever, or black, stuff like that. And when I saw that one, I mean, it might have helped that it was Craig Gordon modeling it. He could make anything look stylish. To be fair, what a man, what a man.
Definitely, I would.
But absolutely. But but as I say, the thing about it that a lot of people said that it looks like pajamas. And I think it's just because of the long sleeves, to be honest. I think now that people said that.
And mate, it would be the most stylish the pajamas you would ever fucking wear. I wouldn't care. I would gladly wear that to like sort of in my bed. Exactly. Definitely.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. Yeah, but I mean that might well be the one I go for in terms of buying them myself. But I hope that obviously we've not seen the away shirt yet. I do hope that it's not just a reverse of the home shirt. No.
I hope not either, because then will be definitely like throughout that, like it will definitely be between that shirt and the and the third shirt as well. For me personally,
the thing about that though, like, see if the away shirt is the reverse of the home one, I think that'll look better than the home one, because I think like a full white shirt with like a maroon stripe down the sleeves and the wee maroon triangle at the collar bit of it, I think that would actually look quite nice.
See, again, like I would agree that the away shirt would look better than the home shirt for this season. However, that would then again scream at me personally, like the away shirt we had for, again, it was the relegation season back in 2013 when we had the Wonga sponsor, and it was essentially just the reverse of that one. And again, like those strips, I absolutely hated them. Like I thought that they were horrible. So, but
as long as it's white, I'm happy. If the away shirt's white, I'm happy with that. Like that for me is what I want. But I don't want any daft colors. I want maroon for a home, white for an away, and then obviously the fancy one for the third shirt. That'll do me. To be honest,
definitely.
The goalkeeper's top's currently top of the list, which is utterly bizarre. Bizarre.
But I agree, though, mate. I agree.
But yeah, so that was that.
Definitely, mate. Definitely. Well, that kind of wraps up our news segment for the day, and hopefully for the next episode that we have, that we'll have a jam-packed news segment like this one, because it's always for fun to dissect news, like etc. with that. So we come on to our main fun topic of the episode, which would be what our picks would be for a five-a-side Hearts team. Now, again, as always, once we put this out, we would love to hear what your five-a-side team would be. There are no conditions as such. You can pick whoever you want, and if you want to head over to our Twitter page, and I'm sure by that point we'll have a post on that, just asking who would be in your five-a-side team. This one was a bit harder for me because obviously I couldn't pick Andy Halliday 5 times, so this was a bit of a brain stomper for me. Much like you, Alan, I know you've touched on who you picked to me, but just before we go on to the first the player, which will obviously be the goal, was it the keeping role. Just out of like not being like that person that depicts the same player every time. I've not actually went for Craig the Gordon. Not went for him. So.
All right.
So,
Okay. Okay. Neither have I, to be fair. Neither have I.
Just to be a bit more sort of like different. I know that we would both pick like like sort of Ed the Craig, like sort of Ed the Gordon, but just
100%.
This is make it being like sort of different. We can go for somebody else. So would you like to start, Alan, or would you like myself to start on this one?
Yeah, I'll kick it off. I will say as well that I picked my team a few days before yours, which is why I sent it over to you. Yeah. We made the conditions as well that we both can't pick the same players, which was another reason why I sent it to yourself. Yep. Just before I say who my goalkeeper is as well, on Twitter, I'll do it. I'll set it up after with a hashtag.
Amazing.
Jambo5's. That'll be the hashtag, so you can join in with
that
one.
I like that.
Yeah, that'll be the hashtag with that one. I have had a couple of people already tell me on Twitter what theirs would be, because for one of my positions, I asked for opinions on Twitter just to see what people thought.
You needed help for a five-a-side team.
I was divided.
Help.
I was divided
on
one position, which I'll get to at the end.
Bloody hell, I don't know.
So no, I just wanted people's opinions, to be honest. I'd already had my mind made up about who it was, but I just wanted to know. Anyway, so my team, I've gone with one goalkeeper, one defender, two midfielders, and a forward. I'm not sure if you've done the same, but
I have went for one like sort of Ed the goal, Ed the keeper. Well, sorry, I went for two defenders, one sort of the midfield striker role, and a striker. So,
okay. Well, as I say, I picked my team a good few days before yours, so I left it open for you to maybe pick some of the more obvious players if that's what you've gone for. I don't know, but my goalkeeper is a man who's not finished. He's only 28. He's Anthony Ewen. Absolutely love that man. 28, absolutely love that man. Remember that? Do you not remember that radio phone in?
Yes.
Why is Anthony Ewen? Why is Anthony Ewen not getting picked for Scotland? Because he's finished. He's not finished. He's only 28. Absolutely love it. That's one of those. It's one of those that will never ever get old for me, like genuinely.
But at the same time, it's like it's to think that we actually have Hearts fans like that as well. I'm thinking, holy shit, I wanted distance myself as much as possible. You know what I mean?
Absolutely love him. Absolutely love him. And brilliant. I mean, to back on a serious note, he's just a top goalkeeper. Genuinely one of the best goalkeepers that we've had. We've been blessed with some very, very good goalkeepers, to be fair.
Well, yeah, Alan, because that's what I was going to actually say. Like, when I was writing Ned Mines down. Now, I know that there was a period more so recently that the keepers we had, for example, the season where we had was it at the Bobby Zlamal and Joel Pereira. That and possibly Jack Hamilton as well. I was never a fan of Jack Hamilton, more so to the point where whenever a goal sort of went in at his end, no matter how it went in, whoever it was, a free kick, a set play, like a corner, the first thing that Jack Hamilton would do would be to shout at his Ed players, which I didn't like. No responsibility at all from that man. But like you said, I think we've been blessed with quite a lot of good the keepers throughout. Well, as long as I've been watching Hearts, I don't think there's ever been a season where it's been terrible, apart from the Joel, like as such, which we'll know the sort of the mention as well, an absolute bomb scare. But
he would make the worst five-a-side team goalkeeper. That would maybe be an interesting one to put out to Twitter as well.
well, like literally on a serious note, I think he is probably the worst, because off the top of my head, I can't even think of anybody that was terrible for us in terms of the goalies. So I think you might be right on that one, Al.
Yeah, I think the thing with Pereira as well, I think what makes it worse is that he came from Manchester United with this amazing reputation and he just turned to absolute dog shit. Like he was
Oh,
horrendous. But
100%.
yeah. So as I say, we've had some fantastic goalkeepers. Anthony Amy, Craig Gordon, Rousset, there's been plenty of them. And even the likes of Marian Kello was a good goalkeeper as well. He was one that I was thinking about. But yeah, anyway, do you want to fire away with yours?
You've literally just said them there, mate.
Oh, really?
Marion
Okay.
Kello.
Right.
So again, like I went through because like literally when you sent me your list, the first thing I saw was fuck, he's picked an Inyemi. I went through like literally a full list and I was a bit stuck between quite a few of them actually. Like, you had the likes of like of course you had was it Ed DeKello, you had was it Janos? Was it the Balak as well?
Yeah.
Jamie McDonald as well. Even the replacement for Antti Niemi as well, because I know that we had Roddy McKenzie for a brief time, but we also had I think he was from Finland as well. Kepi Moilanen, if you mind
Oh
him.
yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Vaguely
yeah.
mind him.
Yeah,
Who was
yeah.
again,
Name rings a bell. Yeah.
yeah, who was again quite a good like sort of red the keeper as well. But the reason that I went with Pikello was I managed to find it was a website with some of his stats, and then I went on YouTube as well. Like again, like I mean, I think it was actually Amaruso Lets It Run, who had like a video like of his like sort of top saves, like etc. And
Yeah.
he was a really, really, really good like sort of the keeper.
He
Like
was, yeah, he
like
was.
it was very like sort of flexible in that sense where he could get to the ball and dive to the ball. Much the same to both sort of Jamie McDonald and was it Ed the Balak as well. But yeah, I went for Marion Kello just based on the fact that like he was our keeper for quite a number of years. I think it was like about what, like 3-4 seasons. I think he was. I don't know
Think it
if it
might
was
have been
that long, but
three. I think it might have been three off the top of my head, but yeah,
yeah,
solid goalkeeper, solid goalkeeper.
definitely.
But yeah, no, it's certainly not a position that we've struggled with. I think
No,
that's
not at
been
all.
more across the other side of the city. They've had some
Mm.
absolute howfing goalkeepers.
Zibby,
But yeah.
definitely. What a man! That man was a Jambo through and through. Like,
Oh,
definitely.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think that's in the conditions to be a Hibs goalkeeper. I think you have to be a Hearts fan, to be honest.
Most certainly, sir. Most certainly.
Yeah, so that
Um,
was the goalkeepers.
definitely. So we can move on to the defenders' point of view now. The way that my five-a-side team is kind of working is that it's more of kind of working the channels like for the wing. So mine is a very sort of fast-paced sort of side, like sort of if you will.
Fair enough.
So my sort of right back as such, because I went for a left and a right back. Is Ed was it Ed Callum Patterson? Again, like
Fair.
just based on the fact that it is a five-a-side team, like he can play right back and he can also play up front as well. So if he were to get himself up the channels as well, I'm sure that he could pop away at like a few the goals as well. And he was quite a fast-paced sort of player as well.
Yeah,
In
he
my
was. He was.
like opinion as well. So I think he would be a pretty solid the right back to actually have, like in your five-a-side team.
No, definitely, definitely.
Mhm.
Since I've only gone with one defender, do you want to tell
Mm.
us your second one as well at the same time?
Yeah. Of course, I'll go for it. So on the left side, not particularly the most fastest player, but by a long sort of was it mile the best left back that we've ever had. Tynecastle. Again, like there's not much to
Yeah.
say about him. Like
No, yeah,
just
exactly, exactly.
top class. So
Yeah, both hard-working defenders as well. Yeah, that's not a
definitely.
bad
So
shout. That's not a bad shout. And Patterson's one that Yeah, I kind of overlooked him, to be honest. But yeah, no, absolutely covers the pitch.
Well, yeah, because for any time that we do these sort of things, was it the Patterson kind of tends to go under the radar a wee bit, even though he wasn't like a good player, and he's still doing quite well for Cardiff as well.
Oh, he's at Sheffield Wednesday now, but I don't know if he's been kept.
So he is, but I mean, either way, I think he managed to keep his start sort of in the squad for Cardiff for quite a number of years as well. So yeah, no, he's a good player. Him.
Aye, he did. He's as I say, I didn't really think about him, to be honest, but now that you've said him, I'm like, maybe he would be. Yeah. So my defender, I've only gone with one, and he could play multiple positions as well off the pitch. Right. It's Craig Levein. Craig Levein as my defender. He'd probably be my manager and my director of football as well at the same time, to be honest. Just a hard-working defender and an absolute legend and an icon of the club. Whether you like Craig Levein for the latter stages of his time at Hearts or not, you can't deny the service that he gave Hearts.
100%.
Proper Hearts man, just a real solid, hard-working defender. To be honest, not much more I can say about him, to be quite frank.
No, man. But I mean, again, when you sent me your list, he was like another player, I thought, oh yeah, he actually played for us.
He did it. He did everything. He did absolutely everything.
So yeah, no. I thought to have anyone sort of in your sort of your back line, I think he would probably be quite a good solid choice to actually have. So not a bad wee pick there, mate. So do you want to move into your sort of midfield or?
Yeah, absolutely. Have you got one midfielder or two? Sorry, I forgot.
I've got one, but he can kind of slot sort of and out of that and the striker role as well. But
that's fair. No, I'll kick it off then with my two midfielders. I've gone for Paul Hartley and Colin Cameron. Those are the two for me.
Yeah, I mean, when you told me them, it was very again, I know it's a 5-a-side team, but when I thought about it, there was a lot of similarities that both Paul Hartley and Colin Cameron had, sort of very a very sort of the box to the box mid the fielder as well, scored quite a few goals as well.
Yeah.
I mean, would it be a positive to have them both in the same team? I mean, in that sense, you'd be leaving. Was it the Craigie boy a bit exposed? But hey ho,
5-a-sides is absolute carnage though. Players can get everywhere. It's not. There's no organisation in a 5-a-side. You can get anywhere. I think Hartley and Cameron, they're similar players, and obviously both came from lower levels of Scottish football and ended up at Hearts, which is fantastic. But yeah, I just like them both, to be honest. Hartley scored some absolute banging goals and gave me some amazing memories. Colin Cameron, very similar. They're just both very, very good. And like you say, box to box, we'd get all over the park. And my striker, it makes more sense when you know who my striker is. You'll know who it is. So obviously you've seen the list, but
yeah, I'll be honest, I can't actually mind it, mate, but please do.
All right, well, that's fine. No, that's fine.
Sorry.
No, they would provide the balls for him to get on the end of. So that's kind of what I've went for with them. But yeah, just both very, very talented midfielders and hard-working. And I like a hard-working player. So that's kind of why I went for them.
Without a shadow of a doubt, mate. So for my sort of kind of midfield role, it may be a bit of a surprising one to yourself. I mean, he could play on the left, the right, quite high up the park as well. No doubt he could probably play in the centre as well. And the fact that he's a beefcake as well, and he's got speed on him more importantly, it is Josh Janelli. Again,
Right.
right. Because again,
Fair enough.
I was thinking about it the other night, right? Can you tell, right? And this is genuine. Can you tell me any Hearts player that has won, got the speed, certainly got the strength, the ability to score goals, who can interchange from the left and the right as well, and still play just as good? Like the only name that generally popped up was his, and that's why I'm quite excited as well to see him play more throughout the new season as well, because we've only seen like small, like sort of the glimpses of what he actually can do, and they've been fantastic. And to maybe put that into like a full campaign as well, I think he can probably offer quite a lot in terms of service and scoring it, like a few goals as well. And for like I'll say as well, like for the striker that I've got as well, I think for Gianelli to work like both the left and right, and to give in sort of the balls to the striker as well, I think this man would tuck them away nicely as well. So yeah, I went for Josh as such. So not a bad choice.
That's a good shout. That's a good shout. We've missed out some really, really obvious ones. I'm not going to name them. I'm not going to name them just in case you put them up front. I'm not going to name them, but we've missed out some absolute bangers. The thing is, I said it before, I would have probably named a couple of the obvious ones, but because I named my team like 2 or 3 days before you, I thought it's a bit unfair if I take all the obvious names to put in. But I wasn't expecting that one from yourself, to be fair. You kind of caught me off a wee bit there. But
no. I mean, it was like sort of the quite like was it nice of you to like sort of name me some names, but still though, even then, my 5-a-side team would still tan your arse, son. It would. Even if I just had it was Janelli there, fucking Katie's on, just by himself.
Come on,
just by himself, he'd be lovely.
I've got Anthony Amy in goal, mate. He'd have him for breakfast.
To be fair, mate, even if you just had was it the Craig Labine on there, yeah, I'd run a fucking mile. But yeah, do you want to give me your striker then, sir, and then
I will
to compare.
Yeah, I will, absolutely. My striker. Now, this is the position that I spoke to people on Twitter about. And the reason that I did that is because I thought if I put this person in, I'm either going to get slaughtered for it, or people are going to go, actually, do you know what? That's actually quite a good shout. So I wanted to sort of gauge where I was at. And I also wanted to know if there was any obvious names that I'd missed, aside from the person that I picked. So this might surprise you as well, actually. I've gone with Roman Bednar to be my number 9 striker. Now, that reaction of yours is exactly what I was thinking, right? I really, really rated Roman Bednar very highly. And
so did I.
And I think it's one of those that he's like you said at the start of this, we didn't make any conditions for players. They could be from any year, any team, any time, right? Now, I'm not going to reel off names of strikers because we've still not heard who yours is, but there are so many top strikers that we've had. And I just think Roman Bednar goes massively under the radar, to be honest. I think
100%.
There's a comment on Twitter that I read when I basically put it out there. I said, my 5-a-side team will have Roman Bednar up front. What do people think about that? And one person replied to me and said, aside from John Robertson, Roman Bednar is the best number 9 that he's seen playing at Hearts in 40 years.
Yeah, I mean, Alan, we've was Ed mentioned this quite a few times on some episodes as well. Hearts have not had like a real like sort of the goal scoring number 9 for a long time, even though we've had some world class like sort of like the players like sort of to come through, like especially the more sort of the lads sort of like time there. like you said, since like putting into that bracket both Robo and the Bednar, and was it even then when was it Ed Bednar was here? He wasn't even the top bed goal scorer at the club. Like
No.
it was either Hartley or Rudy. So like, you know what I mean? So
he wasn't clinical, but he just always had a knack of just being in the right place when he needed to be. And I just
100%.
looked at him and I just thought, you know what? Yeah, like that's my forward. And I think with, as I say, with Hartley and Cameron behind them, they would find them in the right place. I know it's 5-a-sides and we're probably going
I know
way into too much detail. But yeah, it's one of those. And now do you understand why I was asking Twitter and basically saying, is this a totally out of the field pick to put in? But then lots of people named lots of different strikers, to be fair. But Hearts, like you just said, Hearts haven't had clinical finishers. Like we don't have that. We have hard working strikers, or we have what happens at Hearts is you could be at a club and score 20 goals in a season, then come to Hearts the next year and get 5. You know, we don't 100%. We don't have, like Kyle Lafferty did it, but we don't have strikers that score loads of goals because that's not how our game works. We rely on midfielders to score goals, and obviously if forwards can chip in, then that's great too. But yeah, I just really liked Roman Bednar, and I watched when I was picking my team. I don't know if you've seen it, but do you remember that he had a boxing match with Vladimir Romanov?
Vlad clipped him a fucker though. Vlad clipped him a fucker.
He did.
That wasn't even joking, eh? Like that wasn't even joking. No. Do you want yourself a brand new? Was it the contract now? Do you like, you know?
He properly loved him. Yeah.
If I was Roman, seriously, if I was Roman, I would like seriously, owner or not.
Bednar's reaction, he doesn't know what to do. He's like, do I hit him back? Like, what am I doing? Like, I don't think he was expecting it. And it's it's funny. It's funny because the height difference as well. Like Romanov's like 5 foot nothing, and Bednar's a big guy at that point. And you're like, bloody hell, he's just turned around and lumped him. And I'm like, what the fuck? I watched it, like I rememred it. When I was picking my team, because I went onto YouTube and put Roman Bednar career highlights, and that was one of them. And I thought, well, there you go. I was like, a career highlight is getting lumped in the face by the owner at the time.
Fucking hell. But no. You're right though. Forward. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I did say that I wouldn't pick very sort of big, you know, Ed players that most people would pick. But for the last pick, I thought, fuck it, it has to be Robo. I'm sorry, you don't get a name like that and be the club's top the goal scorer ever. And not get into like at least a 5-a-side team. Of course. Like
you could get in a team now.
Like seriously, mate. Like, you know, I mean, again, I mean, there's not really much. I mean, he probably wouldn't be the most hard double working striker as if I've got Janelli in like the team. Like he would literally just circle and then just find the Robo there just to tap it in.
Yeah, like he was one of the names that, as I say, I was tempted to pick myself, but I thought it would be unfair of me to take all the good ones. So yeah, Robo. Yeah, I mean, what can you say? What can you say about best? Yeah. Unbelievable.
Best ever. So yeah, I think that pretty much concludes our episode for today. Well, to all that has been watching it, thank you very much for watching it. As always, appreciated as always. And of course, as well, like we said at the start, we'd love to hear your 5-a-side teams. Alan, could you re-say what the hashtag is? Because I've just totally forgot.
So, I was waiting for that to jump in there. So it's it'll be #Jambo5's. That's what it'll be on Twitter. And if people want to contribute and join in, and as I say, I've already had a couple, but it's a wee bit of interaction there. I'm sure there'll be some cracking teams, and I'll put a poll up as well who people would prefer out of yours and my team. So we'll see who wins that one.
Definitely. But yeah, so if you want to get in on that, you can. Obviously the link will be in the description and also on screen right now as well. And If you want to get in contact with Alan or myself as well, the link to our Red pages are in there as well. And finally, if you did enjoy it, please think about subscribing and like the video as well if you did enjoy it. So from myself and Alan, we will see you in the next episode, and hopefully we'll have more exciting news to bring you. So from us both, thank you very much. Take care and bye for now.